friends, it's Terri Gaines, independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up. In this video tutorial, I'm going to share some cards created with the Thoughtful Journey 6x6 Designer Series paper and the Autumn Trees dies. These products are amazing. Let's start out with the dies. The dies are actually part of a bundle. You can get the stamp set and the dies bundle for 10% savings, or buy just the stamp set or just the die set. The stamp set has all of these images that can be cut out with the dies, plus 2 background dies or stamps. And then along with the dies to cut out those images, you get these dies to be creative with. For this card, I'm going to be using the die that cuts out the deer and the scenic view with the deer. So I'm going to be using that die. The Designer Series paper is 6x6. There's 12 different designs in here. You have a beautiful design on one side and a background on the other side. You can use any of the prints that you would like. I'm using a background print for the first card I create. And then I'm going to use this print for the second card. So it is 6x6 in size. You get 4 each of the 12 double-sided designs, so 48 in the packet. On the bottom of the video tutorial and the bottom of my blog post, I will have all the product I used to create these 2 cards. So I have the paper already cut to size. It comes 6x6. I've got it cut to be 4 by 5 1/4. The first card's going to be in this orientation. I'm using a background side of the paper. This is the front side and this is the back side. I'm going to use the background side. For the second card, I've already got it cut. It's actually 4 by 5 1/4, but rotated this way, and I'm using a scenic design for this one. So let's start with this one. I did a little bit of the work ahead of time. I took a piece of the basic black cardstock and I cut out the deer die already. Now, when you cut this out, it only cuts out that far. So my cardstock is longer than that, so it retained this part that you're going to toss. So that's going to be totally okay. So how this card is going to work, this first one is, I'm going to take my 2 3/8 inch circle punch, and I'm going to take a section out of this Designer Series paper. I'm going to choose to go more towards the top, get just a little bit of the blue here, just a tad bit of that, and I'm going to punch this out. Now I'm using a punch for this. You can use a die for this. Now what I'm going to do with this piece is adhere it to my card base. So I'm going to bring in my silicone craft mat. I'm going to turn this over and put my adhesive on the back of this Designer Series paper and adhere this to the card front. I like to look at opposite corners and whoops, holding this up so the adhesive doesn't touch. I like looking at opposite corners. When I look at each corner, I can look at each side, look for equal spacing, and then I can start adhering that down. So that is the first step of the card. Now I have this piece, and this piece is it is cut out of here. So I'm going to be using that. So what I'm going to do with that is actually take the deer that I've already cut out. So what I did was I placed this on my platform for my die cutting machine, and I cut that out ahead of time. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to do this just to make it easier to view. I'm going to snip out this top section. This is the throwaway section. This is the part that we're going to retain for the card. What I'm going to do is take my punch, bring it in here, and punch out the deer and the cattails and a little bit of that piece down there. And this punch is the very same size as this circle that I cut out. Now I can adhere this cutout image. I'm going to put my Stampin' Seal back here. I'm going to grab some mini glue dots and my Take Your Pick tool, just so I can position those right behind the deer. I just want to put a little bit of adhesive. You can use whatever your favorite adhesive is. I'm going to use my seal and mini glue dots. I'm going to keep this side. I did notice I have the blue sky there. I could turn that over, but I'm going to keep this side, retain a little bit of that background color. Now, I should have shared with you, if you're unsure if you like that little rock, you can snip that off. And I'm going to just snip that off like that. But I could have left it on there. Now I'm going to put those down so you've got that. Now what I'm going to do is adhere this, and I'm going to actually use some dimensionals on this. I'm going to put 4 dimensionals on the back of this. The first sample I made, I did not put dimensionals, but that's the beauty of it. You can, when you create, you can put the dimensionals on if you choose, or you don't need to. Now I'm going to just offset it from that circle, and it's a great way to maximize your project. Show as much of that circle as you would like. I'm attempting to get that straight for the horizon part. Now I also want to add a sentiment. I think this will be a great sympathy card. So I have used the stylish shape banner, or the stylish shape dies. I always add banner to the name. Banner is not part of the name. Nope, I've just used the small one. There's one additional one here. I used this large banner and I cut out a sentiment that I stamped with the Memento ink, and it's part of the Right Word stamp set, and this has got a great variety of stamped images in that stamp set. I did that work ahead of time. Now, since I've already attached that with dimensionals, I'm going to adhere this with dimensionals as well. Now, I failed to tell you, I cut out the banner, and the banner has the banner image on both sides. But I cut this flat because I want to take that part and I'm going to place this. Do you see what I just did? The first card I did not put dimensionals on, so I didn't have this problem. But you know what? This is what happens when you make changes and you hit the record on your project. Don't want any dimensionals right there because I want to overlap it a little bit right here. And I want to retain the same height as that. And that is my first card. It's simple, but I think it's really nice. I have done this in a couple other prints already. Here's one, the same concept, but I actually added a couple more layers here just to pop that designer series paper out a little bit. And here's one I don't have a sentiment on yet, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to turn this one into a birthday card by attaching that. So this is the card I just shared with you. I will also share those additional cards on my blog. So that's card 1, made with a circle punch. Now the second card I'm going to share with you is very similar to this, and it's this one here. Now I do also want to let you know that in the measurements I provide, I do have a basic white that is 3 inches by 4 1/4. That's for your inside sentiment and where you would sign the card. We'd adhere that. I also have that same piece for the inside of this card. And so back to the card. So for this one, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to use dies for this one. I'm going to bring in the Nested Essential dies, and I'm going to choose these 2 dies. So how I'm going to do this one is, the first one I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out of the designer series paper part of this image. I'm going to go about equal spacing top and bottom, about equal spacing right and left, and I'm going to die cut that. To save some video time, I did that ahead of time. So just imagine that I placed that on my die cutting platform, ran it through, cut this one out. So I've got this piece cut out of this inside section. I also took the next largest one and cut that out of basic black. So I have that one to work with as well. So these 2 will be like this. Okay. Now, doing the work ahead of time is saving some video time, is avoiding duplication of things. But I do want to make sure that everything makes sense for how I have done this card so far. So what I'm going to do is adhere this designer series paper to my card base, and just make sure I put adhesive everywhere I need to. And I'm going to look opposite corners again, holding this up so it doesn't adhere until I'm ready. And we got even there. I think we're pretty good right here. We're gonna adhere it down like that. Now, before I adhere those two together, I'm going to attach the deer. So what I did for the deer is I cut it out a piece of scratch paper. See, I think I shared with you, these pieces are very fragile. So that got bumped. I cut this out of a piece of scratch paper. I'm going to take the die, the very same size that I cut this out. I'm going to cut the deer out. I'm going to just leave a little bit on the bottom. I'm going to place this on the platform of my die cutting machine and run that through. And what's going to happen then is I'm going to get this image. Now, when I place this here, that's what I have. Now, it's a personal decision, just like before, whether you want to keep that little boulder on there or not. For this one, I'll leave it on there. So what I'm going to do is adhere this piece to here. I already put a little bit of Terri tape, Terri tape, and it is a strong adhesive that we sell, and it's got a backing on it. So I have that adhered already. I'm going to take the backing off. And the reason I used Terri tape, I could have used the mini glue dots. This space is too narrow for my tape runner. So I went ahead and put some Terri tape on there. And for behind the two deer, I'm going to take a mini glue dot and attach one behind each one of those deer just to help keep that down. I'm going to let the cattail just, no adhesive behind that. So now what I want to do is I want to have this to be flush to the bottom. I'm going to hold this with my fingers, look for alignment there. I think that's pretty good. Attach the deer. Just love how that paper is. It's absolutely beautiful. Now I can put my adhesive behind here. Look for equal spacing on all sides of this. I'm going to put that down. For this one, I'm going to just use my seal. I'm not going to pop it up with dimensionals. And this one is going to just cover up that. I'm not spacing it down. I'm just covering it up. It's a great way to maximize your paper. This layer is from the back there. And let's see if I can get that on straight with the view I have. There we go. I'm going to turn this one into a birthday card. And we have a banner cut out. This is with the stylish shape banners. It's the smallest one, the same die set that cut out that banner. And the happy birthday is from the same stamp set that I used for the first card. It's the Right Word stamp set. I'm going to put adhesive on the back of this. I'm going to line this one up to the edge. I trimmed both of these pieces a little bit. I just wanted to add a little bit of a layer here, and I'm going to place this. I think I'll move that up just a tad bit, just like this. And you can attach any of the sentiments that you would like. And here is this card. So the same concept, one with dies, one with punches. Orientation is different. Here's another card without a sentiment using the same designer series paper. And here's another card using the different dies in this set, because you get 3 different shapes. It's using this die. Same concept for putting these together. I hope you enjoyed this card and found that video tutorial helpful. I would love to have you subscribe to my YouTube channel, to like my YouTube channel, and to share it if you can. If you need any of these supplies or are interested in any of the supplies, as I mentioned earlier, look in the bottom of the video tutorial. There'll be a direct link to the Stampin' Up! Store to see all the details for the product I used. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. Take care and happy creating!